Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's gonna be a bit of a chill video. I'm in my green chair, that's how you know it's like very chill. I'm gonna be talking about being a black girl and confidence and why I believe every black girl should be a bit more conceited. Obviously, growing up in a school that was predominantly white, you're surrounded by a narrative that kind of does put down black women, and you're fed through the media and through your interactions that black womanhood is not desirable and it's not beautiful, things that simply aren't true. And the fact of the matter is that sort of stuff is actually very damaging. If you look at any sort of sociology thing, right, it's about what you consume and the environment that you're brought up in and how you're taught to view yourself really does lead to how you view yourself, essentially. Like, you can internalize it very easily. I know that for my course, I do English at uni. I was reading The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, and I'll give you a little summary. It's about this girl called Pacola, and she believes she's black, she's dark skinned, she lives in a poor area in America. This is set in like the 1940s, and she believes that if she had blue eyes, which she associated with proximity to whiteness, she'd be treated better by those around her. Why? Because she's constantly being told that she's ugly and that her ugliness is derived from her blackness and from the fact that, yeah, she's dark skinned and all these different things. She believes that if she had blue eyes, then she'd be beautiful and she'd be treated better. And unfortunately, this is the type of world that we still live in. Even though that book was set in the 1940s, that sort of rhetoric is still replicated and reproduced to this day. The amount of narratives and even, like, I have to think about this, like, growing up, I love pop culture, I love media, but the fact that I've had so many experiences where, an actor that I thought was kind of good, or, a singer that I enjoyed has had an N-word scandal, then everyone takes it upon themselves essentially to absolve them of any guilt and say, well, it was 5 years ago, well, they were 17, well, they were this young, well, it was this, well, they didn't mean it, they said it. The fact that I feel like it's the one race that is like constantly dealing with, like, having a slur be such a common scandal is really concerning. Like, it's really concerning, and it shows how deeply entrenched anti-blackness is literally in every facet of life. And I remember back in the day during COVID, I love Court Reezy's videos. But I'd watch Court Reezy's videos. She had these like videos where she'd like rank influence N-word scandals. But I'm pretty sure she did like two parts of the video. That's how much content there was to make out of it. And it's like actually kind of ridiculous. And you also grow up in a world where a lot of the media you're watching, it's kind of giving a black best friend, do you know what I mean? Disposable, doesn't have many love interests, or if they do, it's not a focal point at all. And these sort of ideas that you may not think you're being impacted by, over time, they build, and when you're young and impressionable, they can have an impact on your own self-esteem and the way you view yourself. And I think for me especially, like, growing up in a predominantly white area, like, growing up as a black girl is very different to everyone else around me, in the sense that my hair is different or my body may be different, these different things. And without having support or like reassurance that, you're gonna grow into your beauty, etc., and that, like, you're not like undesirable just because that's what the media says, without that sort of support, like, and you're a young teenager already going through growth hormones at that age, are already like driving you insane. But that, in addition, it can really have an impact on you. And so the reason why I'm making this video is because I wish someone told 14-year-old me to be a little bit more conceited, like a little bit more, like, I should have had a bit more self-confidence. It was very easy for me to fall into that insecurity, and that held me back for too many years, far too many years, if I'm honest. And, had me view myself in a way that was honestly paralleling the way that media had been perceiving black women. So the way that I'd been shown how black women were perceived is how I began perceiving myself. Even though I didn't believe that I was anti-black, I didn't believe any of these different things, I know I'm not. The way I was perceiving myself and the way that I was not, filling myself up with hope and confidence and all these different things was in a way perpetuating the same anti-blackness that was being perpetuated by the media onto black women. And so, as I've gotten older, like, something I've had to kind of teach myself is that confidence, because I was constantly catching up. Yes, every teenage girl, I believe every teenager is insecure, frankly, but it's a very difficult time. It's a very confusing time. Like, we're all developing and, learning new things about ourselves. But I believe because of the way that I allowed myself to kind of be caught up in that insecurity, when I got a bit older, I had to catch up and really believe in myself. Because the thing is, the thing that people don't warn you is that insecurity is lethal. Okay, maybe not actually lethal, but it's lethal in the sense that if you never grow out of insecurity, obviously there's going to be insecurity in everybody. Like, everyone's going to be insecure slightly, but if you allow like such extreme insecurity to dictate your life, you're not going to go for those opportunities. You're never going to back yourself. And if you don't actually rate yourself, you're going to allow people into your life that don't rate you either. You're going to allow people to treat you the way that you are treating yourself, which is as though you don't have worth and you don't have anything to give. It's like I love Perks of Being a Wallflower. Charlie says you accept the love that you think you deserve. And if you hate yourself or you're acting in a way that indicates that you hate yourself, you're going to accept that type of love into your life, which is how people end up in situations where people actually don't value them at all. And that in these friendships or these relationships are just devastating to watch, because it's clearly one person that's so reliant on somebody else for validation and all these different things because they can't give it to themselves. As not just a black girl, but a black girl that maybe doesn't express themselves that much. I don't know if that's going to make any sense. What I mean is, you can probably tell from this video, I have a pretty monotone voice. It's monotone, it can sound a bit disinterested, and also I don't have a face that shows much emotion. I can show a little surprise, a little smirk and a smile, etc. But if I'm not comfortable in a situation, or if I'm tired, or literally any situation can lead to me having maybe a bit of a blank stare and a monotone voice. And I've been told many times, like, oh my days, like, I thought you were rude, it's like I thought you just were emotionless, etc., etc. However, other people of different races I know have these same traits, are not characterized in this way. When I was still insecure, these sort of comments would like, I didn't have a strong sense of self-worth, if you know what I mean. So these types of comments, I'm now apologizing to people that I don't need to be apologizing to, saying, I'm sorry, I promise I'm not rude, and all these different things. At the end of the day, if you think I'm rude, you can think I'm rude. It's not my prerogative to change your mind. If you're basing it off of simply my facial expression and I'm not even talking to you, then I can't tell you anything. Or if you're basing it off the fact that I'm more monotone, I just don't know what to tell you because I know I'm not a rude person. And if you get to know me, I'm actually a very nice, bubbly, whimsy soul. And I actually have, a lot to give. But when you have that strong sense of self and you fully pour into yourself and you understand yourself, and unfortunately, the only way to understand yourself is to look at yourself, sweetheart, and to look at yourself, accept yourself, and love yourself, and really, insist that you're going to pour into yourself and that you're going to develop and that you're going to, love yourself. When you do all these things, you can build a strong sense of self-worth. So when somebody says something that contradicts your idea of your self-worth, not by contradicts in a way of like, you should never reflect on yourself. If you say something to someone and they say you're being rude, don't be like, I don't agree with it. Like, still work on yourself and self-evaluate. But for example, like I said, if it's like a microaggression, that contradicts my sense of self. And because I have a strong sense of self, or I'm building a strong sense of self, I can allow that to repel off my skin. Compared to if you're insecure and you don't have a strong sense of self and you haven't poured into yourself, you may internalize these sorts of comments and think, oh my days, I need to change the way I act. To appease who is the question though. Because if you're saying to change the way I act because this person thinks that, are you going to shift your entire sense of being just to help that person accept you a bit more, to allow yourself to be more palatable, to allow yourself to be that perfect version of a black girl? No. You should be yourself, and you should be able to pour into yourself and be authentically yourself, not to appease anybody at the end of the day. And the people that love you and the people that will pour into you as well, they will accept you the way you are. So what I'm saying is basically, I truly believe that all black women should be more conceited and more confident, because I think especially with our demographic, we're the ones that are put down a lot. Like, there's a lot of negativity out there that if you don't have a strong sense of self and you don't have that confidence from within, it's very easy to be put down and feel that you're not beautiful. I've seen so much content surrounding black women that just do not feel beautiful, especially young people. It's so sad to see like younger girls who'll be saying like, I know I'm not beautiful, no one likes me, all these different things, even though like I feel like this is like the standard advice. It is true, you need to start with yourself and you need to love yourself, because you will eventually go into an environment where people are going to love you too. Like, especially if it's something like you go to a predominantly white school, like a school that doesn't really appreciate, let's say, black beauty, you're going to eventually go to a place where people are going to appreciate it. And if you haven't built a mindset that's going to be able to accept such compliments, you're not going to believe them. If you allow yourself to sit in that hate and really manifest in that insecurity, when somebody compliments you, you're going to believe they're not telling the truth, and you're not going to be able to accept the love that you do deserve. For when I was kind of allowing myself to sit in that insecurity, I was constantly trying to fit in a box or a mold or a beauty standard that just simply wasn't set out for me. But when I began pouring into myself and then allowing my social media to reflect what I am, which is a black woman. So following more like black female creators and following their hair routines or following their makeup routines. And I don't compare myself to any Eurocentric beauty standard because it's not me. Do you know what I mean? It's not me. If you follow creators that are promoting Eurocentric beauty standard, your features are probably not going to overlap with them, and that may lead to feelings of insecurity. Whereas if you follow more black creators, okay, maybe your nose looks like them, maybe they have thick lips like you. These different things that feel so small, but when you actually see them replicated in other people, and you see that they are beautiful, you are able to start seeing that beauty within yourself. Compared to if you're looking at obviously equally as beautiful people, but beautiful people that don't have any similarities to yourself, you're going to start really having some sort of like this small fear around what beauty looks like and what beauty can actually be. I also think another thing is I've seen a lot on social media, okay, black girls that maybe don't fit into what society has deemed a palatable or acceptable form of blackness. So maybe it's a black girl with braids that are a bit older, or like a black girl with her natural hair, these different things, maybe shorter natural hair. And the comments I see under these posts are actually disgusting. Like, they've genuinely are so vile. It's people trying to tear down people for having that confidence within themselves, saying, oh, like, look at your hair, all these different things. People being, like, actually confused on how someone can find themselves beautiful when they maybe have more African features. But again, these sort of comments, I think social media has just been a cesspit of absolute hatred. And you know what I mean? There's a really amazing community that uplifts black women, and I think that's one that you should be engaging with. But there's equally a terrible, like, surplus of people that just want to spread hate and negativities, particularly to black women. And you need to have a strong sense of self. You need to build that within yourself. You need to talk, do what you need to do. For me, I have my iPad. I used to make video diaries, and it sounds cringe, but be cringe is to be free. And I'm going to give you this advice. I would sometimes sit there and have to be like, I love you, you're smart, you're beautiful, these different things. They call them affirmations. I had to kind of say these things to myself because the world was really pushing me down. Like, yo, I was like, yo, I can't do this no more. But you have to really feel it to yourself because it's enough to make a girl go mad. I'm telling you, especially when you're young, it's enough to make a girl go mad. But you have to pour into yourself and make sure that you're building that strong standards, that you are able to continue building on yourself. Because there's going to be a day when people are going to turn around and decide that you are beautiful, and you need to have been known that. You need to have been known that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like, the comments are really disgusting. Like, people really do be hating to see a confident black girl there. They'll be saying what's under your wig, micro to macro aggressions, all these different things. Why? Because they really hate to see a black girl be confident. Why? I don't know. Because black women are beautiful. Like, have you seen the material we're working with? And people still will be in those comments saying, pretty for a black girl. That's the biggest compliment they can give. Just horrific. So yeah, like I said, feed into yourself, pour into yourself, pour into your community, and make sure that you are really taking care of yourself. I believe having this confidence and this, what can be deemed as conceitedness, is a form of self-love, is a form of self-care, is a form of improving your mental health. Because when people think about improving their mental health, or go for yoga, go for a walk, all these different things, if you cannot accept yourself for what you are, which is black, but black and beautiful, black is beautiful, if you can never accept that, no amount of walks is going to help you. You need to look yourself in that mirror and you need to say, I am bad. Yeah, I hate that. Like, I look good. I look great. And you do. And you do. But anyways, that's all for today. I'm going to be doing a bit more of these, like, chill videos just because I find them really fun. And, like, these are the types of conversations I like to have with my friends anyways. But don't forget to subscribe and follow my TikTok. And, yeah.